Okay, apparently there was a shooter who tried to shoot up the White House. Cole Thomas Allen identified as suspect in White House correspondent's dinner shooting. Winery tied to Ilhan Omar as husband's winery shutters amid questions about valuation and disclosure forms. Oh yeah, because she lied about the cost of the winery. Trump claims Iran sent a much better deal offer 10 minutes after canceling Pakistan summit. Trump's DOJ has cut thousands of law enforcement jobs while vowing to get tough on crime. Trump shooter at White House press dinner had multiple weapons. Protests erupt in 200 cities against ICE. Warehouse detention expansion. Trump safe after shooting at White House correspondents' dinner. Trump cancels U.S. delegation Pakistan trip as Iran peace talks stall. SpaceX funnel Starlink revenue into costly AI investments. Roommate charged with 2 counts of murder and death disappearance of 2 USF. Students. That's at a university. U.S. envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner to travel to Pakistan for more Iran. Trump bought at least $51 million in bonds in March disclosure shows. A lot of bonds. Trump admin fires National Science Board members. Dirk Kempthorne, former Idaho governor and U.S. Interior Secretary, dies at 74. That's unfortunate. Jury convicts New York man for 1993 killing following third trial in the case. California to weigh tighter restrictions on voter registration amid U.S. debate on election security. Officer killed, another critically injured in Chicago hospital shooting, police say. Holy shit, man. Chicago keeps popping the fuck off, dude. Every month, there's some shit happening in Chicago, dude. Netanyahu's office says PM instructed IDF to strike Hezbollah targets in Lebanon with force. Fetterman raises concerns about anti-Semitism within the Democratic Party. Screenwriters overwhelmingly approve a 4-year contract with Hollywood studios. SAG-AFTRA people, they finally signed a deal. After how long? Congress holds more overnight votes as funding and surveillance fights spread. TMZ expands into Washington with paparazzi-style lawmaker coverage. Philadelphia Museum brings Rocky statue inside after decades of tension. ICE arrests drop nearly 12% after Minneapolis killings and immigration shakeup. Iran's strikes on U.S. bases more destructive than publicly admitted, NBC News. Trump calls for White House correspondents' dinner to be rescheduled after shooting. Lancet Medical Journey declined U.S. Senate COVID origins ask. Firm building Trump's ballroom got secret no-bid contract. Economic conditions may delay interest rate cuts under prospective Fed chair. Harsh. U.S. military strikes alleged drug boat in Eastern Pacific, killing 2. U.S. State Department order global warming about alleged AI thefts by DeepSeek, other Chinese firms. Lancet. Medical Journal declined U.S. Senate COVID origins asks. Trump hosts crypto contest winners at Mar-a-Lago as his coin languishes. Sorry, dude. I don't know why you did that. Shouldn't have done that. Here it is. Gunman at White House Correspondents' Dinner identified as California teacher. A retard. The gunman who opened fire at the White House Correspondents' Dinner on Saturday night has been identified as Cole Allen. Oh shit, he's out of Torrance, man. California. With President Trump calling him a likely lone wolf whack job who looked pretty evil. Well, yeah, if you're bringing in that many weapons and trying to cause some shit. The 31-year-old, identified by federal law enforcement sources, was arrested after allegedly entering the Washington Hilton Hotel and charging toward the ballroom where Trump and roughly 2,500 guests had assembled. The gunfire broke out near the event's indoor security screening area just after 8:30 p.m. as salad was being served. The Secret Service rushed Trump out of the room as members of his cabinet ducked under tables before they too were evacuated. A LinkedIn profile matching his name and photo described him as teacher, a C2 education and tutoring and test prep company. C2 awarded him the Teacher of the Month in December 2024, according to social media posts. Look, just because he's teacher of the month doesn't mean shit. Allen graduated from the California Institute of Technology in 2017 with a Bachelor's of Science in Mechanical Engineering, according to the LinkedIn profile. Spokesperson for Caltech told the New York Times that a person named Cole Allen had earned an undergraduate degree in 2017, but the school did not have any further information immediately available. Allen's neighbor, who gave the name Jeff Smith, told the Post that maybe he could be on the spectrum. Oh, he's talking about being fucking autistic. Dramatic video posted on social media by Trump shows Allen opening fire and rushing toward the ballroom. The law enforcement officer was shot with the bullet hitting his bulletproof vest. He was armed with a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives as he ran into the checkpoint. DC Police Jeffrey Carroll said. At this point, it does appear he is a lone actor, a lone gunman, Carroll said. There does not appear to be any sort of danger to the public. Allen was being charged with using a firearm during a crime of violence and with the assault of a federal officer. Janine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, said Saturday. Agents with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, were later seen raiding his Torrance address. Trump hosted a press conference at the White House shortly after the incident, joined by First Lady Melania Trump, who appeared on the verge of tears after her husband mentioned prior assassination attempts. "There's a tremendous amount of love coming together, I watched," the president said. "I was very, very impressed by that." Trump revealed that he heard the gunshots but was not immediately aware of the danger. "I heard a noise and thought it was a tray going down," he said. "We heard that noise, and it was either a tray or a bullet. I was hoping it was a tray." The president vowed to headline a new rescheduled correspondence dinner within 30 days and to rework his prepared remarks, in which he said he had been prepared to rip into reporters. Trump praised White House Correspondents Association President Ojaya Jiang of CBS News, with whom he sat on stage for her leadership, prompting the briefing room to erupt in applause. "I felt like hell to stay," Trump said. He said, "Please, sir, because they didn't know. There was a lot of action going on, and they didn't know." Trump said Allen was fast. He was running full blast and charged from 50 yards away. The president said that he doesn't believe the attack was linked to the ongoing Israeli war with Iran. It's not going to deter me from winning the war in Iran. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I really don't think so, based on what we know, Trump said. He also vowed to continue his hard-charging political style. A lot of other people, you know, you read stories when they become basket cases, to be honest with you. I'm not a basket case. I want to live because I want to make this country great. That's why I want to live. When you're impactful, they go after you. The president declined to answer a question about how weapons were smuggled inside the hotel. Guests had to pass an outer security perimeter where they were required to show either a ticket or an invitation to a pre-party. There was no screening for weapons except for immediately before the ballroom. A witness told the Post that the suspect appeared to emerge from a makeshift room near the entrance where bar cards were being stored and where there was no security at the time. He was in that room. He grabbed it out of a bag or something. That witness Helen Mobus, a volunteer working at the event, adding that the weapon was long and didn't look like a typical gun. Witnesses described a frantic scene inside the venue after between 4 and 8 shots were fired. Attendees dove under tables as confusion spread when a phalanx of armed Secret Service agents thundered down the central aisle. Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon, who was sitting with the Washington Post, was stepped on by a security agent. A witness told the Post's Miranda device. Dillon confirmed that she suffered a facial bruise during the mayhem. An elderly man in attendance also appeared to be injured and limped out of the ballroom with assistance. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who was sitting with the Post about 40 feet from the president, said shortly afterward that I was hoping the room hadn't been breached. There were a lot of high-value targets in the room, Bessent said. The president and vice president were both up on stage. He also noticed the same hotel was where Reagan got shot in 1981 by Jen Hickley Jr. It was not clear in the immediate aftermath of the incident what had occurred. Trump praised law enforcement for acting quickly as he revealed what happened on social media. Quite an evening in D.C. Secret Service and law enforcement did a fantastic job. They acted quickly and bravely, Trump wrote on Truth Social, where he posted a photo of the suspect. The shooter has been apprehended, and I have recommended that he let the show go on, but will entirely be guided by law enforcement, he added. Well, there you go. Looks like nothing bad happened. Hassan Piker's Cool Crimes chatter exposes the left's toxic fray. Yes, the lawless communist with the Gucci bag. Body cam footage shows California cops struggle in crazed robbery, suspect getaway car. I'll shoot you. Yeah, this is insane. Apparently he jumped in the guy's car and he started to fucking drive away. What the? Well, Governor Newsom and Attorney General Bond charge the officer with attempted murder and dismiss all charges against the suspect and give them unconditional pardon. DeZouza then fled on foot, but was found roughly 10 minutes later hiding in bushes yelling, "He shot me! He shot me!" Unfortunately, not fatally. It would be a good trick if he was shouting that after being fatally shot. Apparently, the dude is still alive. He did get hit, though. He took a bullet. Sucks. Maybe don't act in defiance and use your car like a fucking weapon. Savage split. Relationship drama. Ilhan Omar turns blind eye as top staffer. Dates, marries young underling, glares abusive power dynamics. That's weird. Heart-stopping moment, LA driver barely escapes death in fatal chain reaction crash. That's rough. Shocking scenes from LA's homeless apocalypse. Mass thieves strangle elderly woman at Hollywood Hills mansion of rent-a-car heiress. That's wild. Horrifying super drug, 100 times stronger than fentanyl, claims first Bay Area victim. There it is. Homeless are killing themselves. Leaker is arrested for releasing iconic film months ahead of schedule. Ooh, that's a big no-no. You could get sued for that. Bronco Burger's mom's reaction after son butchered 4 college students revealed in newly released FBI interview. Trump tells Post scribe to come home from Pakistan as Iran talks fizzle. SoCal Crypto Bro learns fate in 263 mil theft ring as fraudsters fantastically extravagant lives exposed. New mega pipeline to open fuel floodgates for gas-starved California. Doomsday letter from faculty at top California business school warns of disturbing truth. Giddy up, Sydney Sweeney flings underwear at surprise stagecoach appearance. Oh. Hello. Wow, chicka, wow, wow. Oh shit, killer content influencer Claudia Glam dies after rival creator allegedly ran her over outside club. Well, you done gone and murdered someone. Now you're going to jail. And you used a deadly weapon too. Gonna get some aggravating factors. Please, chilling video shows tourists rushing to aid shooting victim atop ancient Mexican pyramid. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, fucking, in Mexico there was some fucking crazy guy shooting people at the pyramids, Mexico. He like shot like 15 people or some shit. Oh yeah, apparently there's been, apparently 40 people tied to the Mexican mafia who the FBI or CIA or border control caught. They got 40 of these guys. Police officer fired over deeply disturbing racist social media rant. Uh-oh. 24,000-year-old frozen zombie worm thawed by scientists, then it shockingly started reproducing. Oh, that's creepy and dangerous. They'll be back. Fed up Venice Beach residents mock city's homeless cleanup charade. Yeah, right. They're obviously gonna go. As soon as you clean that up, they come back like 2 weeks later. Pizza Fest serves up slices from 40 different spots in LA. LA's hottest neighborhood was once one of its worst, built from nothing into a walkable art and dining destination. LA's bridge to nowhere is set to choke traffic as Key Road closes for months. And when the crossing finally opens. Remember fucking New Scum was like, oh yeah, this is the best thing we could have done. Look, it doesn't look like it's going well. Roommate charged with premeditated murder and mystery of missing Florida student. Oh yeah, that's been all over the news. Would-be UFO whistleblower suspicious cause of death revealed after agreeing to testify to Congress. California Gov candidate shares vile anti-Semitic Charlie Kirk conspiracies. Slow death slotharium. Shuttered after probe found 31 sloths died in worst conditions possible. Oh my god. That is fucking awful. Trove of leaked documents prove U.S. lab where missing scientists worked was studying UFOs. Documentary. Mother left toddler inside hot car for hours as she gambled in casino. Cops. Isn't that a story? Why hating the rich has become America's favorite form of therapy? I don't think. I think it's kind of stupid, but it's just a slogan fucking Democrats and liberals want to use to fucking brainwash you. I mean, fucking fuckboy Hassan even says it too. Flare up 2 intense solar flares in just 7 hours, the strongest in months. Trans substitute teacher, 19. Wow, this person's 19. Fuck, I'm sorry, huh? How are they a substitute teacher at 19? That doesn't make. Allegedly plotted chilling murder spree at school. Good thing they stopped it. I guess should we read it? Virginia transgender substitute teacher was arrested for allegedly plotting a chilling murder spree at a local school and bragging a line about having a disturbing hit list. Hayden Dollery, 19, was busted on school grounds Monday after posting threatening messages on Discord targeting John Champ High School in Stone Ridge, about 40 miles west of Washington. Yeah, Washington, D.C. According to the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office, multiple outlets. Police said a tip on the department's Safe to Talk app exposed the suspect's sinister online posts. The accused would-be attacker allegedly unleashed threats against family and friends on the messaging app, including disturbing talks of a mass killing at the school. According to a criminal complaint obtained by the Loudoun Times Mirror. The warped teen of Chantley also claimed to have a kill list, the complaint said. Dollery worked as a non-licensed substitute teacher for the 2025-26 school year, but was later scrubbed from the district's list after being thrown behind bars, outlet reported. The long-haired suspects, seen grinning in their mugshot, was charged with threats of bodily harm and is now being held without bond at the Loudoun County Adult Detention Center, cops said. The deranged teen, who identifies as a trans woman, was booked as a male and is reportedly being housed alone. WJLA reported. Dollery is due back in court on May 20th. This person's weird. California man accused of killing ex-wife and new boyfriend in driveway makes bold move in chilling body cam. Uh-oh. He trying to hide evidence? Oh, is this it right here? Stop moving! Get the fuck on the ground! Stop! Body camera footage captures the quiet arrest of a calm and compliant 43-year-old Reedley man accused of gunning down his ex-wife and her new partner in shocking Central California double homicide. Wow, another one. Dude, this is like the third time it's happened. Authorities say Miguel Angel Saldana Garcia was taken into custody after officers found him casually walking down the street. Video captured the arrest shortly after 5 p.m., not long after the deadly shooting unfolded at a home on Brent Avenue, Dinuba. Dinuba Police Department received multiple 911 calls from a residence coming from the 1200 block of Brent Avenue, and when officers responded, they located a male and a female adult, both on the driveway, with multiple gunshot wounds. Jesus fuck, that's fucked up. The victim, 51-year-old Jose Mendina, and 39-year-old Araya Torres, were found in the driveway and pronounced dead on the spot. Investigators said the pair leave behind several children. Holy fuck, that is fucked up. According to police, Saladana fled immediately after the shooting in a white truck. That vehicle was later tracked to Reedley, where detectives uncovered that he had switched cars. A surveillance team then followed his movements back toward Dinuba. Saldana was ultimately arrested outside Dinuba Police Department. Authorities have not confirmed whether he was trying to surrender at the time. Investigators say both vehicles connected to the case have been recovered, and they believe the weapon used in the killings is now in police custody. Search warrants are also being executed at Saldana's home in Reedley. Police revealed that Saldana and Torres shared at least one child. As the investigation continues, the Dinuba Unified School District is stepping in to support students affected by the tragedy, knowing that one victim was related to a student. It's a tragic loss. There's just no doubt about it. And it takes time to process, and being respectful of family members and being here to support is what we all are. We are all about. Superintendent Marty Kochever told ABC 30. Well, there you go. Pretty fucked up. Clavicular YouTube channels removed again after a series of violations. What the fuck did he do this time? Not everyone can bend the rules, sir. Or kid. Civil rights groups shore of defense and flurry of calls after SPLC indictment. The SPLC should be fucking abolished. The anti-defamation ADL should be abolished. They're a sham. Like, a lot of these places should be fucking burnt to the ground. Completely preventable illegal migrant cannibal attacks 3-year-old and Biden admin could have stopped it. Wait, this dude was trying to eat her? Are you fucking serious? Dude, there's been a lot of more cannibal cases happening. An illegal migrant maniac allegedly high in a powerful drug chomped on a toddler's face. Jesus fuck. In Texas last week, 2 years after the Biden admin failed to kick him out of the country despite his arrest and an earlier violent assault, authorities told the Post. The horrific April 18th attack in its San Antonio park left 3-year-old Amelia Perez with deep scratches and bite wounds across her face. 2 teeth knocked out in life-changing trauma, her family said. That brute was ravaging my baby, Mom Gabrielle Perez, 27, told the Post. She's terrified to sleep. She's lashing out, angry. She doesn't understand evil like this fucking man. She'll never be the same again. That Saturday, the family Perez, little Amelia, her father Xavier Estrada, 27, and grandfather Richard Arias, headed from their home in La Costa to Espada Park for a quiet afternoon of fishing for the bass, catfish, and sunfish. At around 2 p.m., Gabriella took Amelia to the restroom, and when they stepped back inside, a man in a frenzied state charged toward them and said Perez. The man, identified by authorities as Atharva Vyas, a 24-year-old illegal migrant from India. Oh, Sir, do not redeem, sir. We got an illegal Indian man who apparently took some drugs and almost chewed off the face of a young toddler. Lunge grabbed the mom's hair and punched her in the jaw. Perez quickly lowered her daughter to the ground to remove her from the fray, but the lunatic leapt on her child, she said. Vyas was allegedly under the influence of wax. No way. I'm sorry. There's no way wax will make you go fucking frenzied. That's insane. Highly concentrated cannabis product with 1 dose akin to smoking 15 to 20 joints, authorities. On all fours, he pinned the toddler to the ground, jamming his thumbs into her eyes before turning cannibal, sinking his teeth in her face and mouth. Vyas allegedly ripped out the child's 2 front teeth as her mother fought, clawing and wrenching at him in a desperate attempt to save her daughter. Horrified witnesses surged forward, dragging the attacker off Amelia while Perez screamed for Xavier until he finally heard the commotion and raced to the scene. Someone called 911. 2 men pulled out guns. I was screaming, shoot him, remembered Gabriella. The crowd finally overwhelmed the maniac, beating him until he collapsed, she said. The sicko attempted to get up, but each time the crowd subdued him again, until San Antonio police officers arrived to find him drifting in and out of consciousness. EMS took the bloody, shaking child and her family to Christus Children's Hospital. In the emergency room, the adults were all going crazy while Amelia was suffering shock. She sat eerie calm, like a statue, while the nurses and doctors worked on her poor face, said Perez. She didn't make a peep, even though she was in a great deal of pain. It hadn't hit her yet what happened. Vyas was jailed in the Bexar County Detention Center and charged with injury to a child with intent to cause bodily injury, assault causing bodily injury, and illegal entry from a foreign nation, according to court record. The Department of Homeland Security told the Post Vyas first entered the country from India in August 2023 on a student visa. 3 months later, he was arrested on the University of Texas campus for felony assault. The college contacted ICE, but the feds under President Joe Biden determined the crime was not egregious enough to warrant visa revocation. But in early April 2025, the Trump admin revoked Vyas's F1 visa based on the assault arrest. The day Vyas allegedly attacked Amelia, ICE lodged a detainer request with San Antonio police asking local cops to turn him over after he faces the American justice system. The agency blasted the failed policies that allowed the illegal migrant to remain in the U.S. This barbaric assault against this woman and 3-year-old child in a park was completely preventable, said Acting Assistant Secretary Lauren Biss. The Biden admin never should have released this animal following his arrest for assault. In a GoFundMe, Perez said the emotional distress from the attack has been overwhelming. We need people to send us prayers, said Perez. We are focusing on healing and recovering. He continued, even though you try to protect your children, this is a dangerous world with dangerous people, said Perez. Victims of illegal migrant crime may receive support from the Victims Immigration Crime Engagement Office by contacting, DHS law enforcement is protecting American communities every day from another senseless tragedy like this taking place in another town or to another family, said the spokesperson. There you go. Well, I'm sorry. The depraved middle school teacher allegedly used AI to make hundreds of images of child of CP, then looked at it at work? What the fuck? What is wrong with this fucking idiot? Apparently Hardee's is shutting down across 77 restaurants across 9 states. The state benefiting from the exodus. Nevada, known for its vast deserts and audacious gamblers, is luring Californians away from the Golden State at a higher rate than any other. Oh, because there's barely any taxes in Nevada. Everything's cheaper! Also, they're like, a purple state right now? Well, I mean, they have a Republican right now. But they're like purple overall. Trial begins for trans killer 87 who went shopping with victim's dismembered leg in a wheelchair. That is fucking... I'm sorry. Excuse me? An 87-year-old transgender New York City serial killer is trying to stay out of prison for a 3rd time, as his trial for viciously butchering a woman and then riding around with her severed arm in his mobility scooter began this week in Brooklyn. Holy shit. That is fucking wild. God damn. So fucking brazen, man. Harvey Marsland stands accused of gruesomely slaying 68-year-old Susan Layden and chopping up her body into pieces, which he stuffed in a bag and dumped on an East New York street before taking his disturbing scooter ride in March 2022. Yeah, this is in New York. Marsland sat in a wheelchair, dressed in a black jacket, pants, and a white shirt, as the jury was told how he allegedly became so obsessed with this victim that he created multiple Facebook accounts using her photo as his profile picture. The New York Daily News reported. People do that for some fucking reason. Like, I'm gonna impersonate this person, even though you're not really doing much. Anyways, on February 27, 2022, Susan Layden went over to the defendant's apartment at 50 Pennsylvania Avenue carrying her gray and black rolling bag with her, there to see her friend. Assistant DA Vivian DeSec told the jury during her opening argument Monday. Susan Layden walked into that building not knowing she would never walk out again, she added. Marcelin, who asked to be referred to as Mr. Harvey in court even though he was previously identified as transgender, allegedly bludgeoned I'm sorry, what? He calls himself transgendered? Is that what you're saying? Allegedly bludgeoned Layden to death and used a reciprocal saw to dismember her body at his Cypress Hills apartment, according to prosecutors. Cutting through skin, cutting through flesh, cutting through tissue, through bones. So many bones, so many cuts. He packages Susan's body up in plastic bags, the sect said. Layden had been down on her luck at the time after losing her jewelry business, becoming estranged from her daughter, and ending up in a homeless shelter, but had started getting back on track just before the murder, DeSec said. Prosecutors allege Marcelin disposed of Layden's torso in the same rolling bag she brought over before heading to a 99-cent store with part of her left leg stuffed in his electric wheelchair. What the fuck? I'm sorry, how could you forget that you had someone's body part still with you? Like, what? After e-bike rider Raymond Lopez discovered Layden's torso near the corner of Pennsylvania Avenue and Atlantic Avenue and alerted the police, the NYPD reviewed video of the scene and determined that Marcelin had left the bag. Inside his apartment, they found Layden's thighs, hand, arm, and head stuffed into black plastic garbage bags. The victim's right leg, left arm, and left hand were never recovered, DeSec said. Marcelin served time for fatally shooting his girlfriend, Jacqueline Bonds, in the hallway of a Harlem apartment building. On October 30th, 1985, he stabbed another girlfriend, Ana Laura Serrera Miranda. Jesus fuck, I'm sorry, what? He kept stabbing and killing his girlfriends, and you didn't think that was a little strange? What? To death in their apartment, a year after being released on lifetime parole for Bond's murder. He brought her body down in a bloody garbage bag before shoving it into a shopping cart. In 2019, Marcelin was released on parole after vowing to keep his nose clean. I give you my word, I will never re-offend. Yeah, I don't know about that one. He told the parolee hearing on June 25th, 2019, less than 3 years before he would kill again. However, prosecutors will only be allowed to bring up Miranda's murder if Marcelin takes the stand in his own defense after a ruling with Judge Danny Chun last week. The jury will not be able to hear any details from the Bonds murder after Judge Chun ruled that it had happened so long ago that it would only serve to prejudice the jury against Marcelin. I'm sorry. You should prejudice. You should bring in that fucking... This dude is crazy. What the fuck? Marcelin has maintained his innocence throughout the case. Brother, I don't know about that one. His lawyer has suggested that another woman, homeless drug addict Lisa Lindahl, could be responsible for the killing. Lindahl, who had visited Marcelin on the day of the murder to do drugs with him, reportedly walking in on the horrific crime scene. She lied, she was desperate, and now instead of being charged with murder, Lisa Lindahl is the prosecution's star witness against Mr. Harvey. Defense lawyer Allison Stocking told the jury. Well, there you go. Who knows? But the dude has a fucking criminal history, and he's suspicious as fuck. Closure at last. Podcast helps police arrest 4 suspects in decades-old murder of teen girl. Shit. Uh-oh. Salami sandwich for the mailman? They launched a sneaky tactic to lure Californians, and it's working. Rocking the boat, Greta Thunberg, apparent bow, skipped Gaza flotilla following sexual misconduct allegation. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! Jilgo Beach killer unleashed 4-day kill ritual with eerie checklist to keep double life hidden doc. Trump to roll out red carpet for King Charles as royal works to repair U.S.-UK relations after Iran. Treetop dramatic footage shows daring aerial rescue of worker stranded atop towering palm tree. Oh shit.
A document that was not.
Apparently this was earlier today.
A document that was not good enough, and so we'll deal by telephone, and they can call us anytime they want. Again, we have all the cards. They have no military left, practically. They have no leaders left. We don't know who the leaders are. Nobody knows who the leader. I don't think they know who the leaders are, very importantly. So you saw that. And any other questions?
Yes, sir. What have you heard from Pakistan? The Iran foreign minister was in Pakistan yesterday night.
I think Pakistan is terrific. I think the field marshal is fantastic. I think the prime minister of Pakistan is great. And, you know, they'd like to see something happen. But we're not going to be traveling 15, 16 hours to have a meeting with people that nobody ever heard of before.
What changed to make you make that decision?
Too much travel. When they say the meeting's scheduled for Tuesday, I said, Tuesday, that's a long time from now. But when you get right down to it, it's a lot of traveling. No, we don't want to do that.
At what point do you send Witkoff and Kushner and send Vice President Vance
Too
in?
much travel.
Well, we would.
Ready?
They're all very competent, all three. Those are three good. But they weren't meeting with the leader of the country. They were meeting with other people. And I said, we're just not going to do it. Too much traveling, takes too long, too expensive. I'm a very cost-conscious person.
Mr. President, you said this week that you're not a fan of prediction markets and that they're turning the country into a casino. But at the same time,
I'm not?
That you're not a fan of prediction.
Well, I don't know. I know some people that are very smart. They like it. They disagree, but they like it. But what would you like to know? Who are you with?
I'm with Decrypt, a crypto-focused publication, and we also have a prediction market. And your administration is aggressively pushing to legalize these markets, and I was wondering if you potentially wanted to reconsider that policy?
A lot of other countries are doing it, and when the other countries do it, we get left out in the cold if we don't do it. So, but I know people that are in the prediction market business, and they're pretty.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with these prediction markets.
What made you decide to go and attend this Meme Coin conference today?
There's a lot of
industry,
fraud that
and we want to
take
beat China at the industry. We're leading with crypto. We're leading with AI, and I really feel I have an obligation from this. As a president, I have to be able to make sure that all of our industries do well. Crypto's a big industry. It's become somewhat mainstream. The banks have it.
Especially with these prediction markets. It's so
I think as the leader of the country, we want to lead in AI. And we're leading China
especially with that Maduro
in AI. And we're also
that
leading in
Maduro
crypto.
one
Yeah.
Do you agree with
apparently
the
was,
decision by Janine Pirro to drop the
right, when
investigation
that
into
sprung
Jerome
up,
Powell?
Well,
apparently
I want to find out,
US
it's not
soldier who
dropped.
made-
They're
or
looking into
some,
the whole thing about the
Refer to
cost.
the IG.
What
a
I
military
what I want to look
personnel
at, yeah,
who
with the
fucking
IG.
made that,
What I want to look
prediction.
at is how can a building that I could have done for $25 million cost $4 billion?
You can easily
That's a big thing, and he was in
manipulate
charge.
shit if,
So we'll get to the bottom of it. Yeah, I
in
think
a lot of
Janine
these
is
cases,
fantastic.
so yeah, you just want to be
And she
careful.
worked with other people on that. I tell you, I want to find out. I have an obligation to find out. This was done during Biden, but I have an obligation to find out how does it. I would have done that building for $25 million, had money left over, and it would have been open a long time ago.
You or her people? Your
I
people
want to
asked her
find
drop
out
it?
because for the country, look, we have a railroad under construction in California. That's the worst thing I've ever seen
Yeah,
under Gavin
yeah.
Newsom. And I want to find out why that one is costing 20 times what it was
He's talking about
projected
the
to
bullet
cost.
train.
Likewise, the Fed building is a small. I built a hotel
Yeah,
in
a small
Washington.
bullet
It's a
train.
Waldorf Astoria. I built it for $201 million. And I believe it's bigger than the Fed building. And you have bathrooms, you have a lot of, it's much tougher, much more expensive to build a hotel than an office. I want to find out, how can a building of that size cost for whatever it's going to be? Nobody knows, by the way, what it's going to be. Kevin is going to be fantastic, Kevin Warsh. He may never get to be in that building.
Is it smooth sailing for him now? Will Tillis drop his talk?
I would imagine it's smooth, but whether it is or not, somebody has to find out why that building that should have cost $25 million is costing billions of dollars.
What else?
And you know why they have to find it out? For other buildings, because that's not the only one. I think that's the most egregious example.
What else caused
On Iran, as you're figuring out who is in charge, if the hardliners or IRGC aligned leaders have greater power in Iran, can the U.S. make a deal with those factors?
Whoever's running the show.
Communicating with those
Deal with whoever runs the show. They don't know. They are fighting with each other. There's tremendous infighting. They're probably fighting for leadership. In many cases, I think they're fighting not to be the leader because we knocked out 2 levels of leaders. But I'll deal with whoever we have to. But there's no reason to wait 2 days, have people traveling for 16, 17 hours. And we're not doing it that way. We'll do it. When they want, they can call me. We have all the cards. We've won everything. We have all the cards.
Yesterday you said to Reuters that we're dealing with who is in charge now. What changed from yesterday to today?
Nothing. It's just that they gave us a paper that should have been better. And interestingly, immediately when I canceled it, within 10 minutes, we got a new paper that was much better.
What was on that
you tell us?
paper, sir? What was
We talked about they will not have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. Look, that whole deal is not complicated. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple.
offer like
Ceasefire
20
remaining?
years
Will you
on.
continue the ceasefire?
Haven't even thought about it yet.
Did they offer anything in return to 20 years of suspending enriched uranium?
They offered a lot.
What
but
did they offer?
They offered a lot, but not enough. Thank you.
Will Kevin Warsh be Fed chair in May, do you think?
That was not good enough. And so we'll deal by telephone, and they can call us anytime they want. Again, we have all the cards. They have no military left, practically. They have no leaders left. We don't know who the leaders are. Nobody knows who the leader. I don't think they know who the leaders are, very importantly. So
You did
you
not
saw
give me
that.
good deal.
And,
No
any other
deal.
questions?
Ah.
What have you heard from Pakistan? The Iran's foreign minister was in Pakistan yesterday night.
I think Pakistan is terrific. I think the field marshal is fantastic. I think the prime minister of Pakistan is great. And, they'd like to see something happen, but we're not going to be traveling 15, 16 hours to have a meeting with people that nobody ever heard of
What
before.
changed to make you make that decision?
Too much travel. When they say the meeting's scheduled for Tuesday, I said, Tuesday, that's a long time from now. But when you get right down to it, it's a lot of traveling. No, we don't want to do
At
that.
what point do you send Witkoff and Kushner and send Vice President Vanson? At what point are
Well,
you
we
going to be
would.
ready?
They're all very competent, all three. Those are three good. But they weren't meeting with the leader of the country. They were meeting with other people. And I said, we're just not going to do it. Too much traveling, takes too long, too expensive. I'm a very cost-conscious person.
Mr. President, you said this week that you're not a fan of prediction markets and that they're turning the country into a casino. But at the same time,
I'm not.
that you're not a fan of prediction.
Well, I don't know. I know some people that are very smart. They like it. They disagree, but they like it. But what would you like to know? Who are you with?
I'm with Decrypt, a crypto-focused publication, and we also have a prediction market. And your administration is aggressively pushing to legalize these markets, and I was wondering if you potentially wanted to reconsider that policy.
A lot of other countries are doing it, and when the other countries do it, we get left out in the cold if we don't do it. So, but I know people that are in the prediction market business, and they're pretty
on the
good.
Fed,
Crypto, what made you decide to go and attend this meme coin conference today?
It's a big industry, and we want to beat China at the industry. We're leading with crypto. We're leading with AI. And I really feel I have an obligation from this. As a president, I have to be able to make sure that all of our industries do well. Crypto is a big industry. It's actually become somewhat mainstream. The banks have it. People have it. And I think as the leader of the country, we want to lead in AI. And we're leading China by a lot in AI. And we're also leading in crypto.
do you agree with the decision by Jeanine Pirro to drop the investigation into Jerome Powell?
Well, I want to find out. It's not dropped. They're looking into the whole thing about the
Refer
cost.
to the IG.
What I want to look at, with the IG. What I want to look at is how can a building that I could have done for $25 million cost $4 billion? That's a big thing, and he was in charge. So we'll get to the bottom of it. Yeah, I think Jeanine is fantastic. And she worked with other people on that. I tell you, I want to find out. I have an obligation to find out. This was done during Biden, but I have an obligation to find out I would have done that building for $25 million, had money left over, and it would have been open a long time ago.
You or her people?
I want to find out because for the country, look, we have a railroad under construction in California. That's the worst thing I've ever seen under Gavin Newsom. And I want to find out why that one is costing 20 times what it was projected to cost. Likewise, the Fed building is I built a hotel in Washington. It's a Waldorf Astoria. I built it for $201 million. And I believe it's bigger than the Fed building. And you have bathrooms, you have a lot of, it's much tougher, much more expensive to build a hotel than an office. I want to find out how can a building of that size cost for whatever it's going to be. Nobody knows, by the way, what it's going to be. Kevin is going to be fantastic. Kevin Warsh, he may never get to be in that building.
Is it smooth sailing for him now? Will Tillis draw his block?
I would imagine it's smooth, but whether it is or not, somebody has to find out why that building that should have cost $25 million is costing billions of dollars. And you know why they have to find it out? For other buildings, because that's not the only one. I think that's the most egregious example.
What else costs money, Ron, as you're figuring out who is in charge? If the hardliners or IRGC-aligned leaders have greater power in Iran, can the U.S. make a deal with those factors?
Whoever's running the show.
Defeating the
Deal with whoever runs the show. They don't know. They are fighting with each other. There's tremendous infighting. They're probably fighting for leadership. In many cases, I think they're fighting not to be the leader because we knocked out 2 levels of leaders. But I'll deal with whoever we have to. But there's no reason to wait 2 days, have people traveling for 16, 17 hours. And we're not doing it that way. We'll do it. When they want, they can call me. We have all the cards. We've won everything. We have all the cards.
Yesterday you said to Reuters that we're dealing with who is in charge now. What changed from yesterday to today?
Nothing. It's just that they gave us a paper that should have been better. And interestingly, immediately when I canceled it, within 10 minutes we got a new paper that was much better.
What was on that paper, sir?
We talked about they will not have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. Look, that whole deal is not complicated. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple.
Is the ceasefire remaining? Will you continue the ceasefire?
Haven't even thought about it yet.
Did they offer anything in return?
Fed check.
Okay, I mean, they kind of asked the same question.
I thought I'd bring up a subject of interest. I do a lot of this as
president and try and
This
save
was on
money.
the 24th.
And one was the
Yesterday.
Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool, which everybody knows. That's where Martin Luther King made his great speech and where others have likewise made great speeches and great events held there. It's very famous. It was built in 1922 and it's more than 2,000 feet long. It's 167 feet wide. It's very big. That's like taller than any skyscraper, 2,000 feet. And here's a picture of it. You probably recognize it. Right now it's got no water in it because it was in terrible shape. It was filthy dirty and it leaked like a sieve for many years. So I actually went with Secret Service and a group of people, and I took a look at it. One of the people with me was Doug Burgum, our great Secretary of the Interior. This comes under his purview, and he said, yes, we've had a lot of problems with it. It's not working. It hasn't worked for many years, and it's always filthy dirty. And I said, well, we're going to solve the problem. And they had bids to fix it. They were going to take the stone out, which was granite, very expensive, very thick, and replace it with stone. And it was going to cost $300 million. And it was going to take maybe more than 3 years. And I said, no, there's a better way of doing it. I said, what we're going to do is I'm going to call all 3 of these people that have worked for me in the past doing swimming pools. That's all they can do is a swimming pool. And I said, give me a good price. We can do it for maybe $1.5 million to $2 million as opposed to $300 million. We scrubbed the surface of the existing granite that's been there since 1922. We then grouted all of the granite, fixed it up, took about 2 weeks, and now we have a nice clean surface on which we're putting a industrial grade swimming pool topping. And they said, what color would you like, sir? It's called American flag blue. I said, that's the color I want. I want American flag blue. It'll last for 40 or 50 years. There'll be no leaks. There'll be no anything. It'll look gorgeous, beautiful. So it's a story in business. And here's the difference, because somebody said, well, sir, but wouldn't it be a better job? I said, no. This is a much better job for much less money. It will look far more beautiful than it did in 1922 when they built it, much more beautiful. So we build it in much less time for much less money.
Wow.
But I don't mean much less.
Trump
I mean numbers that nobody can even believe. So it's $1.5 million versus 300.
A lot of
It's
stuff.
2 weeks.
He did the ballroom,
versus
now
more
he's
than
doing
3
the
years.
Lincoln Memorial.
That's just the way it is. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Doing a lot of oh, there was a press briefing after the shooting incident. I guess we can watch. I don't think
Everybody,
he
we're
was gonna
interrupting
say
broadcasting because of breaking news.
President Trump speaking to reporters at the White House after shots were fired at the Correspondents' Dinner. Let's listen in.
Secret Service and law enforcement, and this was an event dedicated to freedom of speech that was supposed to bring together members of both parties with members of the press, and in a certain way it did, because the fact that they just unified. I saw a room that was just totally unified. It was in one way very beautiful, a very beautiful thing to see. A man charged a security checkpoint armed with multiple weapons, and he was taken down by some very brave members of Secret Service, and they acted very quickly and have just released, for purposes of transparency, clarity, I've ordered it to be put out. You probably have it by now. Put out on Truth and put out on many other platforms. A tape showing the violence of this thug that attacked our Constitution, and also showing how quickly Secret Service and law enforcement acted on our country's behalf. Really did a great job. One officer was shot, but saved by the fact that he was wearing obviously a very good bulletproof vest. He was shot from very close distance with a very powerful gun. And the vest did the job. I just spoke to the officer, and he's doing great. He's in great shape. He has very high spirits, and we told him We love him and respect him, and he's a very proud guy. He's very proud of what he does, Secret Service agent. And we looked at all of the conditions that took place tonight, and I will say, you know, it's not a particularly secure building. And I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it. They've wanted the ballroom for 150 years for lots of different reasons, but today's a little bit different because today we need levels of security that probably nobody's ever seen before. But everyone owes a tremendous debt of gratitude to the courage of law enforcement, the law enforcement, and working with the D.C. police, and we just spoke with the mayor. And when we're finished, the police chief is going to take over and discuss it also from their viewpoint. But they also performed exactly as they were supposed to, and you see the attacker in different positions, but you also see the attacker totally subdued and under control. So as you know, this is not the first time in the past couple of years that our republic has been attacked by a would-be assassin who sought to kill. In Butler, Pennsylvania, less than 2 years ago, you all know that story, and in Palm Beach, Florida, a few months after that, we came close. We really had, again, we had some great work done by law enforcement. But in light of this evening's events, I ask that all Americans recommit with their hearts in resolving our difference peacefully. We have to resolve our differences. I will say, you had Republicans, Democrats, independents, conservatives, liberals, and progressives. Those words are interchangeable, perhaps, but maybe they're not. But yet everybody in that room, big crowd, record-setting crowd. There was a record-setting group of people, and there was a tremendous amount of love and coming together. I watched, and I was very, very impressed by that. But First Lady and I were taken very well care of very quickly, rushed off the stage. Vice President J.D. Vance, who's here, was likewise beautifully done. He was just saying how quickly everybody acted, law enforcement, Secret Service in particular in this case, but law enforcement. Marco had the same thing. Pete was there. Pete didn't want any help. He didn't want anybody to help him. He doesn't want anybody to help him, but he did get some, didn't you? And I think you also said that it was very impressive. So with that, I'd like to ask Todd Blanche to come up, say a few words, and tell you it's already underway. The man has been captured. They're going to his apartment. I guess he lives in California, and he's a sick person, a very sick person, and we don't want things like this to happen. I think it's very important that I say, though, and I told the representatives of the evening, they did such a beautiful job. It was such a beautiful evening. And again, they're talking about free speech in our Constitution. That's what it's all about, not just White House correspondence. It was really based on free speech in our Constitution. But I said very importantly that we'll do it again within the next 30 days, and we'll make it bigger and better and even nicer. So I just want to thank everybody that was involved. I also want to thank the press, the media. You've been very responsible in your coverage. I will say I've been seeing what's been out, and you've been very responsible. So Todd Blanche, I'd like to say a few words, and then we're going to have Cash, and then you're going to go on. We can ask, I guess we can take a couple of questions. I want to thank the First Lady that was a rather traumatic experience for her. There was a lot of action taking place up there very quickly. But again, the response time was really incredible. And we're going to reschedule. We're going to do it again. We're not going to let anybody take over our society. We're not going to cancel things out because we can't do that. We wanted to stay tonight. I will tell you, I fought like hell to stay. But there was protocol. They said, please, sir, because they didn't know there was a lot of action going on, and they didn't know could there be probably a lone shooter, but we'll find out. We'll find out very quickly. They have it very well under control. So I want to thank everybody very much. And Todd Blanche, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Tonight you saw the very worst and the very best of this country. You saw the very worst by the actions of that coward that the president just talked about. But you also saw the very best because you saw law enforcement do exactly what they're supposed to do. And you'll see the videos come out, I expect, very shortly, and you'll see law enforcement do exactly what we want them to do. And so I echo what what President Trump just said, that we are extraordinarily grateful and appreciative of the men and women of law enforcement that did their jobs tonight, including one who was injured. This investigation is ongoing. I expect you will see charges filed shortly. The charges should be self-evident given the conduct, but as you'll hear, there will be multiple charges surrounding the shooting, around the possession of firearms, and anything else that we can get on this guy. The investigation is obviously ongoing and just started. There's federal law enforcement already working on search warrants and doing their job, and I don't want to get ahead of them and don't want to get ahead of the work that they're doing even as we speak. Director Patel and I were just on the crime scene a short while ago, and everybody in this room should rest assured that the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI, Secret Service, everybody's on the scene doing their job. I know that the police chief is going to give an update from the scene as soon as we're finished here, and I obviously will lead the details of what they have learned to him. But in the meantime, I just want to thank everybody in this room for the courage. And I want to thank President Trump for his words, and I promise you, justice will be served. Thank you. Director Patel.
Thank you, General. Thank you, Mr. President. The President's absolutely right. You saw the best resolve of American law enforcement because you, Mr. President, inspire them 24/7, 365. You give them the resources that they need, and they know that you have their back. And that is a changing dynamic in this country, and that's why you saw brave Secret Service agents respond immediately, swiftly, subdue and take down the suspect, and safeguard the lives of thousands of individuals at that hotel. Thanks to our interagency partnership with the Department of Homeland Security and the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI was rapidly deployed onto the scene, took over the evidence response unit, is examining all the ballistics that were found on scene to include the long gun and the shell casings. We are conducting witness interviews as we speak. You will hear from our team on the scene there with the mayor and the head of the FBI field division there. But please know what the Attorney General has just said reigns no truer. You saw the very best of America tonight. The very best unite us at a time of uncertainty, because we have leadership here with the President, the Vice President, that backs law enforcement, and the men and women that I shook their hands on the scene today could not have been prouder to show up on scene. And as the Attorney General said, make no mistake, we are conducting witness interviews. If you have any information whatsoever related to this event, 1-800-CALL-FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI. No piece of information is too small. No piece of information is inadequate. We will evaluate it all. We will also be conducting interviews of those that were there. And if any of those individuals have information, please come forward to law enforcement or the FBI or the Metropolitan Police Department. We will be examining this individual's background thoroughly. That process has already started. And we are going to ensure that he was either a lone wolf actor or anyone else that was responsible. We will analyze all evidence immediately to make sure that we safeguard this country. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, thank you for your leadership. Attorney General and Homeland Secretary Merlin, thank you for your partnership in law enforcement.
Thank you. Okay, we'll do a couple and then we go to the chief. Madam Chairman, I just want to say you did a fantastic job. What a beautiful evening, and we're going to reschedule. And after that, it's very tough for her to ask a killer question, right? But you have done a fantastic job. Please.
Mr. President, I appreciate it. As you mentioned, it all happened so quickly, and I wonder, especially because unfortunately you have experience with these sorts of threats. In that moment, when you realized there was a threat and service agents were telling us to get down, can you describe what was going through your mind, how you were feeling in that moment?
That's a very good question, actually. It's always shocking when something like this happens. Happened to me a little bit, and that never changes. The fact, we were sitting right next to each other, First Lady on my right, and I heard a noise and sort of thought it was a tray. I thought it was a tray going down. I've heard that many times, and it was a pretty loud noise. And it was from quite far away. He hadn't breached the area at all. They really got him. But so it was quite far away, but it was a gun. And some people really understood that pretty quickly. Other people didn't. I was watching to see what was happening. Probably should have gone down even faster. Melania was very cognizant, I think, of what happened. I think she knew immediately what happened. She was saying, that's a bad noise. And we were whisked away along with other people, but we were really whisked away. And again, the performance of the Secret Service and the police, all of the law enforcement, I thought was really good. So it was very quick. There wasn't a lot of time to be thinking, because it was a matter of seconds before we were out the door and gone into an area. We very much, and you wanted to too, we very much wanted to continue it, because I don't like to let these sick people, these thugs, these horrible horrible people changed the fabric of our life, changed the course of what we do. So we held out. You were there. We held out right till the end, but they didn't want to take a chance, and I understand there was protocol. But we're going to be doing one hopefully within the next 30 days or sooner, and I am ready, willing, and able, and I was all set to really rip it. And I said to my people, this would be the most inappropriate speech ever made if I said one. So I'll have to save it. I don't know if I could ever be as rough as I was going to be tonight. I think I'm going to be probably very nice. I'll be very boring the next time, but we're going to have a great event. And you did a fantastic job. Thank you very much. Peter, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. There's a report in the New York Post that this assailant assembled his weapon somewhere on site at the hotel. What do you think about that? And I ask respectfully, why do you think this keeps happening to you?
Well, you know, I've studied assassinations, and I must tell you, the most impactful people, the people that do the most, you take a look at the people, Abraham Lincoln, I mean, you go through the people that have gone through this, where they got them. But the people that do the most, the people that make the biggest impact, they're the ones that they go after. They don't go after the ones that don't do much because they like it that way. And when you look at the people that have either, whether it was an attempt or a successful attempt, they're very impactful people. Just take a look at the names there, the big names. And I hate to say I'm honored by that, but I've done a lot. We've done a lot. We've taken this country, and we were a laughingstock for years, and now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We've changed this country.
The hottest country.
And there are a lot of people that are not happy about that. So I think that's the answer, Peter.
After Butler, your team for a while rethought outdoor events.
Yeah.
Do you think that you now need to rethink
No.
indoor
Well,
events?
but then you just don't do events. No, I can't do that. I have to. It is what it is. We have to do it. The room was very, very secure. You know, he charged from 50 yards away, so he was very far away from the room.
And what do you think when you saw the video of how fast he was running?
He was moving. He was really moving. And the reaction time was great. Boy, those guys, they had their guns drawn. Literally, by the time he was there, they were shooting. That's right. I thought they were very impressive. And if I didn't, I'd let you know,
Oh, yeah, dude, the dude's fucking booking it.
I would not stand for that. No, I thought they were very impressive.
Thank you, President Trump, and thank you for updating us on the suspect earlier. Were you aware of any threats? Was your team aware of any threats beforehand? And do you believe you were the target of this tonight?
I guess. I mean, these people they're crazy. They're crazy, and you never know. He was very far away from me. I had to go through a lot. We had resources all over. We had resources sitting at tables, literally in disguise, sitting maybe at your table, who knows? But we had people all over the room, so he had a long way to go. That was really a first line of defense, and they got him. And they really, they acted incredibly. No, there was no notification. We had no idea. Go ahead,
Do you know any political motivations from this?
Well, you never know. No, we'll be able to tell you that maybe by tomorrow or the next day. He's in custody, and they're asking him a lot of questions. I guess they're going over, Todd, and they're already at his apartment. He lives in California, and they're over there, so they'll be able to tell you. Thank you.
President Trump, did the suspect say anything, or was he wearing anything that would allege some type of motive here?
Nothing. No, I mean, he was a guy who looked pretty evil when he was down. They had him down. He was fighting hard. He was in my opinion, a sick person. Who would do that but a sick person? But I think you're going to find everything about him. No reason to talk about it now, but tomorrow at this time, long before this time, you're going to know a lot of things about him. They seem to think he was a lone wolf, and I feel that too.
Are you concerned about U.S. Secret Service protection ability? We saw several of the
Yo,
detainees
where's your
take
shirt,
minutes
dog?
to be escorted out the room.
No, they acted very quickly. No, I was very impressed by Secret Service. I mean, I'm the one, and Mark Wayne, you would agree with that, I think. I'm the one that would complain. You don't have to complain for me. I would be complaining. I'd be up here right now saying they didn't do their job. Oh, believe me, because, it's my life. And I want to live because I want to make this country great. That's why I want to live. But when you're impactful, they go after you. When you're not impactful, they leave you alone. Okay, a couple of more. Go ahead, please.
Is there any indication that this shooting could have been linked to the war in Iran?
I don't think so, but you never know. We're going to know a lot. We have the best people in the world working on it, and we're going to know a lot. Please.
Mr. President, there's a lot. You, as well as some of us who have covered Butler, experienced another horrific day 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What felt similar? You had the First Lady with you today. What felt different? And you have another 2+ years in office. Are you concerned about something like this happening
Well, I
again?
can't be concerned. I can only get great people. They did the job, in my opinion, a much better job than Butler. Butler had one weak spot that we all know about. Somebody should have been up there. But even Butler, we had our sniper on our side within 4.2 seconds from a distance of about 400 yards, one shot, and he was gone. And if he didn't do it, now, he's David. His name was David. I say, hello, David, every time I see him. David, I like you very much, David. But think of that. Now, if he doesn't hit him, and he hit him right between the eyes from 400 yards without any notice, nobody knew. He heard a sound. He looked over, and there was actually a tree that was somewhat in his way. You know the story very well. And he aimed, he fired. And if he didn't do that, beyond me, you would have had a lot more people killed. We lost one great person and 2 people very badly hurt. They're okay now. But no, that was so. In a sense, it was pretty amazing the job they did. But they did have that one weak spot, as you know. They should have had that covered. Tonight they had everything covered very quickly, and he was fast. He was running full blast, and they got him before they got any further. I was very far away. He hadn't anywhere close to breach the doors of the ballroom. The ballroom was sealed, and everybody in there. That's why once those doors opened, they didn't want to do tonight. If the doors weren't opened, we could have probably done it tonight, but I think we're much better off rescheduling. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, for you and perhaps law enforcement as well, what is the level of confidence that this was a lone actor, and has the suspect made any statements to police while in custody?
Yeah, I think it's just it's not my profession. We have great professionals up here and outside that have been working with us. My impression is he was a lone wolf, whack job. These are crazy people. And they have to be dealt with. We had that in the second attempt, as you know, and he's spending life in prison. Because if you let him out, they'll probably, if he serves 10 years or 15 years, you let him out, he'll probably try it again with somebody else. They're sick people. We have a lot of sick people. But you're going to know, I think very shortly, you're going to know, Todd, a lot about him. You're going to know a lot about him. Yeah, a couple of more. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Are you concerned about political violence? This could be politically motivated.
All violence. I'm concerned about everything. Look, but I can't be so concerned that you can't function. No, I'm here. It's a dangerous profession. I tell the story. Race car drivers, I think it's very dangerous. So if you take 1% and then take about 10% of 1%, just to break it down very easily, they die. So much less than 1%, 10% of 1%. I think bull riding is very dangerous. If you take about the same, 10% of 1%, much less than 1%. But if you take presidents, it's 5.8%. And about 8% are shot at. So nobody told me this was such a dangerous profession. If Marco would have told me, maybe I wouldn't have run. Maybe I would have said, I'll take a pass. No, it's a dangerous profession, but I don't view it that way. Look, I'm here to do a job. As part of the job, it is a dangerous. I can't imagine that there's any profession that's more dangerous. But I love the country, and I'm very proud. I'm very proud of the job we've done. You see what's happened. We have a great country. We've got, I think, the most successful, the hottest country anywhere in the world. This happened over a period of just a year, and we're going to do great things. But with that come risks. There's no question about it. Yeah.
To that end, there's been so much political violence, not just aimed at yourself, but at other members of Congress, state house speakers, you name it. Is that just the cost of doing business to do politics in America anymore?
Yeah. Well,
what does that say about our country?
We're not the only country. You look at there's great violence with all countries. I was talking to somebody from another country today, and they have numerous assassinations of political figures all over the world. You look at South America, it's like some of the numbers are just horrific. It's dangerous. It's dangerous stuff, whether it's here or someplace else. No country is immune. No country. Good question.
Will we turn that temperature now? At this point?
Well, probably if I decided to just not do much, if I let everybody rip us off and take advantage of us. Look, we're leading the world in trade now. We're leading the world in the military. We're the greatest military in the world. I rebuilt it in my first term, and now we use it because we have no choice. We can't let, as an example, Iran, we can't let them get a nuclear weapon. Everything will be peanuts compared to that if they ever were given a nuclear weapon, and they'd use it too. Marco and I were talking about it today. They would use it without even hesitation. We can't do that. It was a shame. I said, oh boy, look at the numbers. We just broke 50,000 in the Dow. We just broke 7,000 in the S&P. They said we couldn't do it in 7 years, in 5 years, 4 years. They were saying maybe in 5 or 6 years. And we did it in 1 year. And I called everybody together. I called all of these people and others, and I said, we have to take a little journey. I hate to do this. We just had the great number. We just broke 50,000. Wasn't supposed to happen during my term. Wasn't reachable. We did it in 1 year, and I said, we're going to have to make a journey to Iran. They're going to have a nuclear weapon if we don't do it. We had the B-2 bombers take them out. I terminated in the first term the Obama agreement, the Iran nuclear agreement, which was a disaster. That was a road to a nuclear weapon. They would have used it. They would have used it 100%. So, you know, when you do things like that, you become a target. If I wasn't doing that, I guess I'd be a lot less of a target. But I'm honored to be. Okay, one more question. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. Thank you, President Trump. Do you know how the gun was brought into the hotel? And also, how does this event impact you as the leader of our country? Do you think it will change your
I
leadership?
like not to think about it. I lead a pretty normal life, considering, you know, it's a dangerous life. I think I handle it as well as it can be handled. I think a lot of other people, you know, you read stories where they become basket cases. To be honest with you, I'm not a basket case. I really take it as it is. I do it for the country. I'm not doing it for any other reason. I have a first lady who's doing a terrific job. She loves the country, and she recognizes it better than anybody. She's told me numerous times. She said, "You are in a dangerous job." But that goes along with her, too. I mean, it's dangerous for her, too. We sat there tonight. We heard that noise, and it was either a tray or a bullet. I was hoping it was a tray, but it wasn't. And, again, we had some very brave people doing a great job, so we're very proud of them and happy with them. I just want to thank everybody. They will be able to give you all that information as to the names and everything else. I think we released the names already. Most of you would have it, but his name. We appreciate it. I see so many tuxedos and beautiful dresses. It was a little different evening than we thought, but we're going to do it again, and we have a great chairman who we're so proud of, and we have to make it better. We'll make it safer, I guess, right? But we're going to make it even better. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
President Trump, can we hear from her about how impactful this was? Can we hear from her about...
Oh, honey, would you want to say something?
Okay.
One in the back.
One in the back.
Many of the people across the globe, in fact, are watching you. You demonstrated courageous leadership, and thank God you're alive, all of us are alive today. What is the message that you want to give to the world that this should change? What corrective measures can we take from here on?
Well, all you can do, look, I don't care how many people you have, how good they are, they can be the greatest people. You have the greatest security in history. If you have a whack job who's got a brain, but it's a little bit distorted or a lot distorted, they can make trouble. I would say, Pete, right? You know, they can make trouble. Some of these people are of genius level IQ, and they're nuts, so it can be trouble. So you do absolutely the best. You get the best. We have the best people. Well, look, it was proven tonight. He started running from 50 yards, and he was fast. He was like a blur on tape. He was moving. It was very impressive the way they got him, because a lot of people would be looking and saying, you know, it's like a weird feeling, and they would let him get through, but they didn't let him get through. They drew those guns so fast. They looked like Matt Dillon. They looked like somebody that knew what they were doing. We really do, but it comes with the territory. And if you want to do a great job, I really believe that. And you take a look at what's happened to some of our greatest presidents, and it doesn't happen to people that don't do anything. And it's not going to deter me from winning the war in Iran. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I really don't think so, based on what we know. But we're going to continue to do a great job. That's all I can do. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
And we just heard there from President Trump, really taking his time answering questions, delivering a lengthy remark there following the shots that were fired at the Correspondents' Dinner. President Trump really praising law enforcement, the speed at which they were able to get everyone out of that ballroom and to safety. The president saying this was, of course, extremely shocking, as it always is when something like this happens, right? This isn't the first time the president has confronted something like this, saying when he initially heard the sound, he didn't know if it was a tray or a bullet. But again, the president saying that, describing the suspect. We know that it's a man from California. There's so much information about who this person may be. We're, of course, not revealing it at this time, but saying that person is a thug who attacked our Constitution. Also saying that that suspect charged a security checkpoint armed with multiple weapons, and that one officer was shot, but fortunately wearing bulletproof vests. That person shot at extremely close range, but some good news tonight, that officer is doing well at this time.
Yeah, he said multiple weapons, and one of them, and then we heard from the Attorney General, I think it was, or Cash Patel, that said it was a long rifle. So he came through with a lot of firepower, and we've seen the video of him charging through one of the magnetometers where people walk up and they check to see if you have, obviously, anything metal on you. And he comes running through. The president said it multiple times that he came running through at full speed, actually shot the one agent near the magnetometer, and then they jumped on him and brought him to the ground. So a lot more news to be coming in the next few hours.
And we'll have so much more coming up on the KTLA 5 News at 10 and 11, perhaps more information about that gunman at that time.
All right, there you go. Oh, they went after. They took a look at his house after that. VA state senator says he understands rural America because he watched the Dukes of Hazzard, the Waltons, and the Andy Griffith show. You know, what the?
I almost took issue with the other side saying that we don't understand. But I grew up watching the Waltons. I grew up with Opie. I even watched the Dukes of Hazzard. I think I know a little bit about rural America. And when I think about
funny, he doesn't sound serious.
We're not like just here. I'm not just here for Theo. I'm not just here for Arnold or Willis. I'm here for Opie, John Boy, Bloxam, Topanga.
You disrespectful, stupid idiot.
Yeah. What a fucking loop. Don Lemon. What is it? He's lying again? Is there Don Lemon going at it again? That was memology.
Our next question tonight is about an issue we all see every day in California, homelessness. There are 187,000 people experiencing homelessness in the state right now. In a recent Inside California Politics poll, 86% of those surveyed believe the homeless problem has stayed the same or is getting worse. We want to ask a question about Governor Newsom's performance on homelessness. What letter grade would you give him on handling the issue?
F.
And what, if anything, would you do differently? Ms. Porter, we're going to begin with you. You recently gave the governor a solid A-
Jesus,
when it comes to
I'm
his
sorry,
overall
what?
job
No.
performance. What
You're
grade would you
F.
give him on homelessness? And what, if anything, would you
Oh,
do
it's this
differently?
crazy
You have
lady.
60 seconds.
She's a
I'm a
wacko, so it
notoriously
doesn't
tough
matter.
grader, but I would probably give him a B on homelessness.
A few moments later.
Mr. Becerra, we haven't seen you issue a letter grade on Governor Newsom's overall performance. What grade does he get on
this
homelessness? And what, if anything, would you do differently? You have 60 seconds.
Frank, I would say that the governor has made efforts. We've seen him come down to Los Angeles, actually go out and try to clean some of the streets. On effort, I would give him an A.
No. Stop lying.
You can't be serious.
Yeah. Straight up. Yeah, he's doing a good job by throwing money at the problem. Okay, which doesn't do anything.
I get people's frustration. We all intimately understand that frustration, but we are seeing real progress.
Fucking that news comment.
I'm a notoriously tough grader, but I would probably give him a B on homelessness.
I want to talk about
B?
Governor Newsom.
Yeah.
I want to thank him. He's been one hell of a governor, man. Matter of fact, he could do anything you want. He could have the job I'm looking for.
That the governor has made efforts. We've seen him come down to Los Angeles, actually go out and try to clean some of the streets. On effort, I would give him an A.
I would give him an A. Oh, you lying fucking retard. Afternoon stuff.
So you're saying that you don't think there's anything that Gavin Newsom did wrong?
I'm saying we will do things differently, but right now, Californians are pretty lucky to have Gavin Newsom as the protector that he is.
Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear that coming from that fucking piece. You fucking lying buffoon. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, that was Civity. Let's check out this Don Lemon one. Don Lemon!
But I think it's another
Flamboyant,
nail, especially in
lame
the confidence
person.
that people have in corporate media, the trust that they have in corporate media. And I think that is why folks like you know, over here on Substack doing extremely well. I'm doing okay on Substack, also
You're doing
on
great.
YouTube doing
Watch
well.
Don on Substack,
Yeah.
watch Don on YouTube.
Yeah. And so I think that's why we're having such success.
Uh-huh. Nobody is watching.
They don't care if you're on the north lawn and the south lawn and the White House with pancake makeup on and all the lights and the
joked about
shiny
by
desks.
Elon Musk.
They want people they like, they trust, and they care about. And I think that's figures like us. People can trust that I'm going to tell them the truth. I'm also not going to bombard them with frivolous stuff. I'm not going to have false equivalency on my show. People can trust that I'm going to tell them the truth.
Oh, really? Does he think that we've all forgotten that he called the coronavirus a hoax? Does he think that we've forgotten what he said?
People can trust that I'm going to tell them the truth.
Here's the thing, I'm so glad that you asked me that question because I've been wanting to correct this. Let's go. I've never believed Jussie Smollett. Me neither. Okay, so let me tell you.
You lying You did, yeah, you motherfucker. You believed that line.
The incident with Jussie, what was your initial reaction?
My initial reaction was sadness. Yeah. I wasn't shocked. I didn't like that it happened to him. I called him.
Jesus.
Because we have mutual friends. I got the friend on the phone. The friend talked to me for a minute. He goes, Jessie's here, seeing the doctor. And I talked to Jussie for a minute. And then he said, I got to go to the doctor's here. And it just made me sad.
Man, if you had the Pinocchio nose going on,
He is
you'd
so
have
full
a
of shit,
long
this
ass
guy.
fucking wooden nose.
Terrible.
Jesus.
People can trust that I'm going to tell them the truth.
Okay, crossing the border illegally is not a crime?
No, it's not a criminal act. It's a misdemeanor.
So why are they being sent back and saying that they're breaking the law?
That's the point.
Brother,
as somebody that...
that's a crime.
We don't know if they're breaking the law because they won't tell. There's no due process. Where's the evidence? That's the whole point. And if they are breaking the law, most people will say, okay, then they need to go if they're criminals. But if they're not, why are they being rounded up and sent out, especially when he promised to deport the criminals? And now he's not doing that.
I don't think we're going... Misdemeanor is not a crime.
Yeah.
So misdemeanor is not
it's
a crime?
It's not a criminal act, no. If you get charged with a misdemeanor, that's not a criminal act.
So how do you charge at all then, if it's not a criminal act?
Yeah, how do you
because we have different levels of crime. Everything is not the same.
So it is crime.
No,
it's just
we have different levels of. I shouldn't say crime, but it's not. It's not. You're not. It's not a crime. You're not breaking the law. I mean, you are breaking the law, but it's not a criminal act.
You just don't want to use. Dude, it's a crime.
So we
have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right. And we have to start doing something about them. There is no travel ban on them. There's no ban on, they had the Muslim ban. There is no white guy ban.
Not on my watch. Not on my watch.
Gosh, great.
Alright, there you go. Don Lemon, high as a kite.
A illegal just ate a baby's face in Texas.
Oh yeah, this
You
guy.
might not have known about it
Yeah, we just read the article on him.
Anti-ICE rhetoric like an illegal eating a baby's face in Texas.
A random attack at a Southside park over the weekend has a San Antonio mother in shock. While Gabriela Perez and her family were fishing, that's when a man appeared out of the woods and began punching Perez and grabbing her by the hair, causing her to drop her daughter. That's when it is said the attacker started biting the little girl's face. Perez says it was a scene out of a horror movie.
I got up and I was like, this is a zombie movie, like what the heck?
Villas was tackled by onlookers and held until police arrived. He is charged with injury to a child with intent to cause bodily injury. San Antonio police say it's unclear what led to the attack.
And the more you know about the attack, the worse it gets, as the story is insane in itself. But it seems like most media outlets are conveniently ignoring the most important portion of the story. As local NBC just says, 3-year-old recovering. Even Fox brushes it off as man arrested after attack, with only KSAT barely mentioning he's also an illegal. Nothing's more horrific than a baby being eaten than it being completely avoidable if only Biden enforced our existing border laws. But it again gets worse from here. As only the New York, California Post reports, while out on a fishing trip, the mom got confronted outside the restroom by a complete stranger, who immediately begins assaulting her, then her toddler too, biting into her face, allegedly taking out her 2 front teeth, but then the witnesses that saw the scuffle stepped in, pulling out their 2A tools while she shouted, "Shoot him," while they repeatedly beat him unconscious until the cops arrived. I wouldn't exactly call this a happy ending, but something that could have been much worse. The baby would probably be gone if it wasn't for constitutional carry combined with some of that toxic masculinity. So it's just interesting that none of the other news outlets mentioned how she was saved by the armed men stepping in to fight a lunatic. But again, this gets even worser, as the attacker came in during the Biden administration on a student visa, was almost immediately arrested on campus for felony assault. The college contacted ICE, but they replied the crime wasn't enough to revoke his visa. But once President Trump arrived, they finally revoked it. So Texas had an entire year to deport him before he could eat this baby's face, but sadly even deep red Texas has super blue strongholds like San Antonio. And when Trump was ramping up immigration enforcement in the city, these literal liberal lemmings lined up the streets against it.
Stop deportations now, 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 now!
So when Trump deployed the National Guard, CBS seemingly misleads their viewers again.
Texas National Guard troops were seen arriving in San Antonio, part of the contingent Governor Greg Abbott deployed to counter the growing protests across the state, demanding an end to ICE raids.
When you see some of the operations that have been happening across the country and here in San Antonio, is that why you're out here?
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. I'm at the point where I don't even want to eat because whoever's on the people are getting picked up, and it's sickening.
The nationwide protests are being driven partly by what President Trump has called his administration's aggressive immigration policy.
The intended effect is to cause fear. Many people are finding their lives upended because they can't go out, they can't take their kids to school. It is causing real terror.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
We've seen under this last week some operations that have been working to bring in criminals that have been out on our streets for far too long. Our HSI and ICE individuals have been out conducting operations with our government partners.
We are expecting a court ruling.
How convenient they cut off the DHS secretary as she explains exactly what they're investigating. As right after they cry how fearful the illegals are hiding from ICE, they probably don't want you to know exactly why they're hiding from ICE. And if CBS is so concerned how fearful San Antonio citizens are, you'd think they'd also report on the cannibal attack. But no. Even Google searching specifically CBS San Antonio for the story just shows irrelevant reports from 17 years ago. Then AOL's reposts of the New York Post and the Independent Gateway pundits reporting. You would think this would be a national news story. Known offender with active deportation order randomly attacks mom and stacks on baby, if nothing but for the shock value these outlets typically capitalize on. But sadly, in San Antonio, Texas, both sides probably don't want this pressure politically,
it has
as
a
of course the
foreign
Democrats have a hand in
coming
this.
doing something
For
illegal.
years, actively assisting this into Texas.
He's
But
already
as Scott Pressler
legal.
found, even a Republican Texas senator
Oh no, this
was
is gonna hurt
allegedly
her
asking
fucking,
for mass
her
amnesty.
fucking public image. We can't talk
Firmemente la
about this.
legalización de los streamers.
I'm John Cornyn, and I approve this message.
It's one thing when Republicans won't even enforce existing laws, but it's an entirely new issue when they're basically becoming Biden Part 2. So don't let them bury this story, and share with everybody you know. And if you appreciate my concise, light-order commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, subscribe to Decoy. Or for more daily clips,
Apparently
check out
Decoy
Decaf
voice
Decoy.
changed his name to just Decoy. So there you go. Yeah, we already covered this story, but yeah, covered it a little bit more. Oh yeah, we just read this one. Not too long. Homeless man charged with murder for allegedly lighting elderly dementia patient on fire, as grim new details emerge. Homeless man is now facing murder charges, accused in the gruesome death of an elderly man who was suffering from dementia when he allegedly beat and set him on fire in downtown Los Angeles. Los Angeles District Attorney's Office said the 84-year-old Bang Cho was disoriented and living with dementia when he wandered away from his convalescent home on April 19th before being brutally beaten and torched by Levanta Martel Wilder. Officials said the elderly man encountered Wilder, described as a transient, while he was on the 6th Street in downtown Los Angeles, between Hope Street and Grand Avenue. Cho had grabbed one of the bags Wilder was carrying, per the DA. Wilder then allegedly viciously punched and kicked the 84-year-old in the head and body, lifting him over his shoulder and slamming him to the ground, before setting him on fire. The DA said Cho's condition made him practically vulnerable. The level of violence alleged here is brutal, callous, and extreme, and our prosecutors will pursue this case with the urgency it demands to ensure accountability and justice for the victim and his loved ones. Los Angeles District Attorney Nathan Hochman said. Wilder has been charged with 1 count of murder and faces special allegation of having a prior serious felony. Video footage obtained by the Post shows the victim being treated with burnt clothing on the ground, while officers set up a perimeter with crime tape. At least half a dozen police officers secured the scene as 3 paramedics loaded the elderly man into the ambulance before rushing him to the hospital, where he died the next day, come to his wounds. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty bad. The witness said off camera that he was on a bus when he saw a man stomping on the victim's face before setting him on fire. The witness said he got off the bus and went to put out the fire before performing CPR on the victim. Wilder was later located on 6th Street and taken into custody, per the DA. His arraignment is scheduled for May 21st. Wilder's bail has been set at more than $2 million. If convicted as charged, he faces up to life in state prison. The investigation remains ongoing, but the Los Angeles Police Department and the California Post reached out to the DA and LAPD for further comment. Oh, there you go. That's pretty fucking brutal. Pretty fucked up, too.